Pablo Escobar, the name synonymous with drugs, crimes, and death. The Netflix series Narcos revived his character, the devil who plagued the world with his evil ambitions. He was the richest drug lord in the world and the most powerful man in Colombia. As powerful as he was, he met his fate on the rooftop of one of his properties. Even we do know so much about his life from the series and many books on his life, there are certain things that people may not know about him and his character. So in this video, we are going to talk about some of the unknown facts about the former drug lord Pablo Escobar. Before we start though, make sure you have subscribed to the channel as you don't want to miss the upcoming videos on this channel. Let's get started. Number 1. He was elected congressman in Colombia to seek immunity and almost became the president of Colombia. Escobar was a public figure in Colombia given his philanthropic activities that were underlined by his drug business. No matter how much he contributed to the country, his ambitions and final goal was to keep the business running, which involved either buying or killing people one way or another. To make his position even stronger, he got himself elected in the Colombian Congress through a rigged election to seek parliamentary immunity so he could escape a potential extradition to the United States if his cartel was ever dismantled. His idea was to keep the government in control if he cannot have everyone on his page, and to gain that ultimate control over the country, his political ambitions went a little too far. He wanted to become the official president of the country to control everything that goes on in Colombia. However, when he was kicked off Congress, he told a confidant that the government was the real mafia. Number 2. The hippos he owned escaped and are now reproducing in Colombia. He had a thing for exotic animals and birds. He kept hundreds of animals in a private zoo, a private collection mainly because he was insanely rich from the dirty money. Needless to say, 3-ton hippos are not supposed to live in Colombia. But when the kingpin was shot, his pet hippos were forgotten and are now roaming the area where Hacienda Nápoles used to be. There are about 30 of them and are causing real problems within the ecosystem. The reason they didn't naturally exist there was they were not supposed to be in the environment naturally, and now that they were there artificially planted, their population has started to become a threat to native wildlife. Number 3. He factored in 2.1 billion in losses each month, but it didn't matter. According to Roberto Escobar, the cartel's chief accountant and the kingpin's brother, Escobar's immense wealth was becoming a problem for him to efficiently launder. Eventually, he resorted to stacking the cash in huge piles in Colombian farming fields, dilapidated warehouses, and in the walls of cartel members' homes. Pablo was earning so much that each year we would write off 10% of the money because the rats would eat it in storage or it would be damaged by water or lost. That would be about $2.1 billion, given how much money he was reportedly making. Escobar simply had more money than he knew what to do with, so haphazardly losing money to rodents and mold wasn't an issue. Number 4. He was nicknamed Robin Hood. It is ironic for someone to be called Robin Hood, a title associated with hope and compassion for others. He is the one who plagued the world with ugly drugs, but if you were there, you might have disagreed. As I mentioned before, he was a people's person. Even if his intentions were not noble, he wanted everyone to like him and not see him for who he really was. He knew the power he would have if he had the people's approval of being the Robin Hood. He made many housing buildings for homeless people, around 70 community football fields, and handed out cash to people. His people never saw past his generosity. Number 5. Escobar broke the shipment's record. Around 15 tons of cocaine was transported to the US every day by Escobar. His supply circle and demand was so huge that this daily quota of 15 tons was not enough to meet the requirements. The biggest cocaine shipment ever made in the United States by Escobar weighed in at around 51,000 pounds. He had personnel, ships, planes, and even submarines to transport drugs into the United States, and from there, it was distributed to other countries. Number 6. He almost paid his way out of extradition. At the height of its power, the Medellin cartel dominated the cocaine trade, earning an estimated $420 million per week and making its leader one of the wealthiest people in the world. With a reported worth of $25 billion, Escobar had ample money to spend, and he did. His lavish lifestyle included private planes, luxurious homes, and over-the-top parties. In the late 1980s, he reportedly offered to pay off his country's debt of $10 billion if he would be exempt from any extradition treaty. Number 7. Escobar imprisoned himself in a castle. In 1991, Escobar was incarcerated in his self-designed prison he named La Catedral. In the terms of his agreement with the Colombian government, Escobar was allowed to select who was imprisoned with him and who worked in the prison. He could also continue to run his cartel business and receive visitors. La Catedral was equipped with a soccer field, barbecue pit, and patios, and it was nearby another compound he built for his family. Also, the Colombian authorities were not allowed within 3 miles of his prison. Number 8. Escobar has killed more people than any other drug lord of the time. The total tally of his crimes are still a mystery. However, a great number of people were murdered on his command. His particular way of handling any authorities questioning his actions was to bribe them or to kill them, or plata or plomo, Colombian slang for money or bullets. Escobar was believed to have had Medellin drug lord Fabio Restrepo murdered in 1975 in order to take over full leadership of the Medellin cartel. The 1989 bombing of a Bogotá security building was attributed to Escobar. A number of American intelligence reports claim that Escobar's cartel was planning to kill President Bush Sr. with a bomb on his visit to Cartagena in 1989, which did not transpire. In the early 1990s, Escobar reportedly had Luis Carlos Galán and 2 other Liberal Party candidates for Colombian president assassinated, as they posed a threat to everything Escobar upheld. A few months later, Escobar had a bomb planted on an aeroplane on which presidential candidate Cesar Gaviria was traveling. Avianca Flight 203 was blown out of the sky, killing 110 people. Other than these assassinations, he is said to have killed more than 200 judges and over 1,000 police officers, maybe thousands of other innocent people who did not behave as he wanted them to. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. I will see you in the next one.